Governor, my name is Donica Hudson, and I bring to you an invitation of honor. I read to you a very befitting note from an anonymous author. Before I hung the heavens, I knew you. Before I carved out a date for you to be born, I predestined you for greatness, to govern my people and my creation as you do today. Before you had your first love, I loved you. Before you incurred your first heartache, I ordained your healing. There's nothing about you that I do not know, and nothing for you I wouldn't do when you call upon me. In love and truth, your Creator God. Governor, I bring to you this very opportunity to call upon our Creator God for what your state needs. When you do this, God stands ready, endorsing you, and ready to supply. 2 years ago, in May of 2013, I interviewed Pastor Andre Vainall on a Charlotte, North Carolina radio station. This interview changed the focus of my life and is the impetus for why you hold in your hands right now a proclamation for a day of prayer, fasting, and humility for the state of North Carolina, signed by Governor Pat McCrory. Listen to the interview.
America's under judgment because of the three major issues, which are the fact that the abortion factor keeps doing its rounds and never comes to some kind of solution. The second thing, of course, is because of the homosexual agenda. And the third thing, of course, is the fact that you don't want the Lord anywhere in your courthouses or in the schools. And I went to the Lord, and the Lord told me one morning, America's under judgment. And I said, but Lord, does that mean that you take your bow and arrows and you shoot people, or do you strike them with lightning? What do you do? I don't understand the concept of judgment. And the Lord simply said, I withdraw. And when he withdraws his presence, then you're at the mercy of the enemy, and he comes to rob, steal, kill, and destroy.
Well, we kicked him out of the school system and said we don't want to have any more school prayer.
Well, here was the deal. It was one thing for me to talk about this stuff. It was another thing for me to see it on TV, the 10 children that died in Oklahoma, and I just began to cry. I mean, I was a basket case for a day, because now I'm seeing death and destruction, and I'm saying, Lord, what is this? And he just said, but they don't want me in the schools. They're not invoking my protection. How can I protect them?
So prayer is protection.
Absolutely. And if you say, if the scripture says, knock and he who hears my voice and he opens the door, I will come into him. So there's a point where man has to invoke, open the door and say, Lord, come into this situation, and then there'll be protection. Let me use a historical story. The North and the South were at war with one another. The North never won a battle for the first 2 years of that war.
In what country?
And here in the United States. That's why I'm going to use that story.
The Civil War.
Then Lincoln says, let's have a day of prayer, fasting, and humiliation. From that day, the North never lost a battle. The South lost everything. And at the time, Stonewall Jackson died, so the righteous man who was protecting the South was removed out of the picture. What the South didn't do is call for a day of fasting and prayer and humiliation. Now,
wow, you're saying because Lincoln declared that day of fasting and prayer, his side won.
The North won. Now, here's what the
Wow.
deal is. The deal is it's up to the king to declare the day. If you look at the book of Kings and you look at all these old kings that were around in Israel, the kings who called the people to fast and pray were the kings that had, most of them, 40 years of generous prosperity living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The kings that didn't were the kings that had all kinds of problems. So I'm just saying, God's solution to this whole thing is, and it's not going to hurt anybody. If the guy doesn't want to go pray and fast, that's his baby. But the king, the governor of the state, must call for it. And God will honor the governor and state.
Governor, I honor you because I recognize that the God of the universe placed you in the very respected seat of authority that you now hold for your state. In turn, would you honor God by proclaiming a day of prayer, fasting, and humility for your state that will bring protection to your people?